Hello, I'm Crystal. Welcome to the mat today. Today our practice will be a practice for stress relieving and reducing anxiety. We'll begin our practice with a pranayama technique that we'll start with. At the beginning of practice, we'll go through a little bit of a practice and then we will have Shavasana at the end. So you'll just need for our practice is a nice space, a blanket or a mat, and some comfortable clothes, and we can go ahead and get started. Today we'll start in a comfortable seated space, comfortable seated area. You can start on your knees or a seated position. We will be here for a little bit doing our breath work. You could always have a block, a pillow, or a folded up blanket. You can always put it underneath the sit bones, underneath your hips to help elevate the hips and kind of open up the space, your pelvis area. If your hips are a little bit tight, that can always help out with that. So feel free to do that. You could even be seated in a chair here. You could be lying down if that's more comfortable for you. So anything that works for you here really is where you want to be. So wherever you're nice and comfortable, that's where we want to go. This practice is for you. So let's become nice and comfortable. So we're going to use our breath here to really try to activate our parasympathetic system. So this is our system, part of the nervous system that helps us to rest and digest. Kind of turns off that fight, flight, and freeze system that our body is mostly in during the day, even when you don't realize it. That's that part that really catches us and is really responsible for stress within the body and in our minds. So we're just going to try to calm down, relax not only the body but the mind as well. So just getting into our comfortable seat, getting both sit bones nice and planted, rooted into the earth here. So sitting up nice and tall, creating nice length through the spine, reach up through the neck, right out the crown of the head, as if someone's pulling a string, right up from the bottom of the spine, all the way up and out the top of your head. Sitting up nice and tall. The hands can rest right in your lap. The palms can be down or facing up. So getting nice and comfortable, relax those shoulders down away from the ears. And if you feel comfortable here, you can begin to close the eyes, or you can find a point, a non-moving point to focus on and just take a soft gaze here. And just begin to settle in this moment on our mat. So just noticing how we're feeling in this moment. Noticing any areas of the body where you may feel that tightness or tension, where you may be holding any stuck energy. We'll be doing the 4-7-8 pranayama technique today. It's really used to relax and relieve any feelings that are not serving you. It's great to help calm you if you're anxious or stressed out, because it really focuses on lengthening the exhale, which is responsible for stimulating that parasympathetic system. So just taking a moment to arrive here and begin to settle in. Just notice the breath. You don't have to do anything. Just notice it. Notice the natural flow, the rhythm in the body. Notice what it feels like when you breathe in And what it feels like as you empty the breath out. And now bring your awareness to your heart space, the area around your heart. This area tends to become tight and collapse when we feel anxious. So let's see if we can energetically lift up through that area, even if it's not this noticeable movement. Maybe it's just broadening of the collarbones, if that feels okay. So just notice if that affects your breath at all. Maybe we have a more fuller inhale, feeling the heart lift a little. And maybe we feel the shoulders relax a little as we breathe out. The neck and shoulders are also places to hold tension. So let's use our inhales to feel expansion. And as we start to deepen the breath, use the exhale to find softness. Doing great. Beginning to find some relaxation. Eyes are closed or gaze is soft. Shoulders release away from the ears. On the next inhale, let's bring the tip of the tongue to the top of the roof, or to the roof of the mouth as you breathe in. Then release it and relax the jaw as you breathe out. Continuing like that as we begin our pranayama practice of 4, 7, 8 breath. So on our next inhale, I'll count to 4. The tongue will come to the roof of the mouth. We'll inhale for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, just let it go, soft and easy. We'll repeat. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just let it go. Just notice how you feel. Stay present. And now adding on to that ratio, we're going to retain the breath in between the inhale and the exhale for a 7 count. So let's take one deep breath before we begin. Relax your shoulders. Exhale everything out. Here we go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold and retain the breath for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let everything go. Notice what thoughts come up. Stay present and try to keep the body still. We'll do that one more time. Let's take one full breath before we begin. Exhale everything out. And we'll begin. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold and retain for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just let everything go. noticing how you feel. Now we'll add on the last part is the exhale for an 8 count. So we'll do an inhale for 4, holding and retaining the breath for 7, and then a nice smooth exhale for 8. So it'll be a 4, 7, 8 breath. Soften now through your fingertips and your toes. Let's take one full inhale breath before we begin. Exhale, letting it all out. And we begin. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale smoothly. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale with control. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let everything go. Just notice what comes up. Notice how you feel. Let the breath become natural. When you feel ready, gently open the eyes. Coming back to your space. On an inhale breath, let's reach the arms out and overhead. Clasping the hands overhead, flipping, reach the palms up overhead for a nice stretch. Inhaling, and on the exhale, dropping the arms in front, gently rounding through the back, allowing the chin to fall to the chest. On your inhale, let's draw back up, reaching nice and tall. And exhale, slowly reaching forward again, rounding. One more time, inhale to reach all the way up. And on the exhale, release the clasp, arms come down to a T position here. And on the exhale, let's open through the chest, maybe lifting through the chin, open through the throat. And exhale the arms down to the side. Making our way into a tabletop position, placing the hands in front. Coming into our tabletop. The knees are below the hips. Wrists are below the shoulders. Spread those fingertips nice and wide. We're just going to start with some gentle wrist stretches. You can flip we'll take the right wrist. We'll start with turn the fingertips back towards the body. And then this may be enough of a stretch for you, or you can begin to lean the hips back some to get a little bit more of a stretch. And then coming back up, gently releasing. You can shake that out, and then if you would like to flip the palm and put the pressure, the weight down onto the back side of the palm now. And same thing if you'd like to send the hips back for more of a stretch. And then releasing and shaking out that hand. And just switching to the opposite side now, sending the fingertips to point back to the body. You can stay here or send those hips back. And releasing, shake the hand out, and now placing the back side of the hand, the palm, onto the mat. And again, you can send the hips back for more of a stretch. And then releasing and shaking the wrist out here. Spreading those fingers nice and wide, replacing the hands, the wrist below the shoulders again, drawing the navel and the ribs, hugging them up and in. So we don't want to drop down. We want a nice flat back here in our tabletop position. Coming into some gentle cat-cows, warming up our spine. On an inhale, we'll begin to lower the belly button to the floor, lifting the tailbone, lifting the head. And on an exhale, reversing that movement, rounding through the spine, taking the gaze to our belly button. And inhale, dropping the belly button, lifting the gaze, and exhale to round. Continuing this movement, following your breath. Just gently massaging the spine here. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. Inhaling to open the chest. And exhaling to round and close. So just doing whatever movements feel good here. Some people like to take this into barrel rolls, where the torso actually rolls into and out of this movement. And that can feel really nice. So don't worry what you'd look like while you're doing this. Nobody's watching. That's the joy of doing this in your home. You're doing what feels good for you. Now, next time you come through center, bringing that movement to an end. Stepping the fingers one step in front of the shoulders here, keeping those fingers nice and wide, spread open, moving into a downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, begin to lift the hips slowly up to the sky, coming into our first downward facing dog. Really pressing into the earth, feel that energy rising up through the spine, into the sit bones, down the back of the thighs, all the way down to the heels. And just taking any movements here that feel nice to you. Walking it out, maybe even keeping the knees bent, a generous bend here. So just taking what feels good. You can nod the head yes and no. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhaling as we contract. Exhaling, feeling that softness. On the next inhale, let's come up onto the toes and we'll slowly walk the feet to meet the hands, coming into a forward fold.
The feet are about hip width distance apart. Take a nice generous bend in the knees. Fold forward and just come into a ragdoll position, just letting the head hang, the arms hang. You can grab from one elbow to the other and just sway side to side here. Taking 3 deep breaths, rooting down through all 4 corners of the feet. Releasing the hands back down to the earth. On your next inhale, rise up to an active back, sending the crown out in front of you. Release, exhale. On your next inhale, we'll root to rise all the way up to standing. Palms touch, exhale down to a heart center. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhaled, we fold, swan dive down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale and fold, stepping back to plank pose. Hands, wrists are below the shoulders, hugging the low belly and the ribs up and in. Really press through those hands, sending that upper back up towards the sky. Reaching the tailbone down towards the feet. Really think about, as we're building strength here, releasing any negative energy. Got this. Holding it for 1, 2, and on 3, we're going to send the hips high into our downward facing dog. On your next inhale, floating back forward into a plank pose. On an exhale, pressing back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward, plank pose. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. On your inhale, floating forward as if you're going over a barrier here. Slowly with control. Last one, exhale, pressing back to your downward facing dog. Holding here, take a breath, nice cleansing breath, pressing through the index finger and the thumb. Turning the inner elbows to face the front of the mat. We're going to take a lion's breath here. So we'll take a breath in, big inhale through the nose, and then we're going to open the mouth, stick the tongue out with a forceful exhale out the mouth. Bulge the eyeballs out, releasing some heat and energy. Nice big inhale through the nose. Do it with me, no one can see you. Inhale. Try it one more time. Inhale. Awesome. Come up onto the toes, tippy toe to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale the hands to heart center. Great job. We're going to come back down to the floor, inhaling the hands up. Swan dive, fold forward. Inhale to an active back. Exhale and fold. Step back, plank position. You can lower the knees down here and slowly lower down onto your belly.
The hands are right by the shoulders, right underneath your shoulders here. Feet are flat to the mat. We're going to come into some cobras, pressing into the tops of the toes, press into the pelvic area, drawing the navel and the ribs up and in. Hug your elbows in to the body, tight into the body. Shoulders draw down your back. Take a nice inhale breath. On the exhale, begin to lift the chest and the head. Exhale and we lower. Again, inhale, hug those shoulders in, lift. Exhale, lower. Remember to hug the belly up and in. Inhale, lift. We'll hold this time. Continue to breathe. Try to unclench the buttock muscles here. Play with that. Gaze is a little forward. You can even play with seeing if you can lift the hands from the mat. Exhale, lower down. Send the elbows out wide, placing the palms right below the forehead, one on top of the other. Rest your forehead onto the palms. Coming into crocodile pose, the big toes pointing towards one another. Relax down. I like to shimmy my hips side to side. Take a moment here. Really just come back to your breath, noticing how your body feels. As you're relieving tensions and tightness. Creating strength and positive energy. Begin to lift the gaze. Draw the hands back underneath your shoulders. Curl the toes under. We're going to begin to lift the body up onto the knees and come into a child's pose. Let's keep the knees together here. Send the hips back onto the heels. Begin to surrender the chest down to the earth. The head will rest, forehead will rest down onto the mat. You can use a pillow, a block. You could stack your fists one on top of the other here. The arms can rest down by the sides to allow the shoulders to melt down into the earth. And just begin to breathe into this surrender to that place which is out of your control and connect to a sense of peace and love within. Begin to lift your gaze, walk the hands out in front of you, and let's begin to take the right hand and thread it underneath the left arm. And see if you can come down onto the right shoulder here. and come into a thread the needle. Now we may want to widen the knees a little to help us rest down more onto that right shoulder to get a little bit more of a stretch. You may be able to rest the forehead down, or again you can put it on a pillow or a block. The left arm can stay long in front of you, or you can begin to wrap it around the back side of the body to take a bind. So it's your choice. And then lifting up, and we're unwinding the right arm and switching sides, sending the left arm underneath and resting down onto the left side of the head. We'll just take a couple breaths here. Just relaxing down into the earth. Keeping the mind on our inhales and our exhales. We can inhale and send our breath down the entire length of that left arm all the way to the fingertips. And on the exhale, bring that breath all the way back up and out, releasing all the tension and tightness that we feel. On your next inhale, breath slowly rising up, using your hands to lift the body upright and just coming into a seated position. The left leg will come out long in front, and the sole of the right foot comes to the inner thigh or to the inner calf. Both sit bones are on the mat. Flexing the left foot, keeping it active, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we begin to hinge from the hips, folding forward, reaching for the foot. We may not grab the foot, but we want to reach in that direction. And then grabbing whatever is available. Trying to keep the spine nice and tall, reaching out through the crown of the head. We want to feel a nice stretch through the back of the leg here. And inhaling all the way down the back of the leg, all the way up to the toes, and exhaling, sending softness back through the leg. Inhaling fresh oxygen through the entire left leg. Exhaling, maybe you fold a little deeper. Using your hands, we'll walk our way back up, drawing the left foot in to meet the sole of the right foot, coming into cobbler's pose or butterfly pose. Sitting up nice and tall, taking your ankles or your shins. You can even take your peace fingers around the big toes. Wherever you can reach, draw the heels in as close as you can to the groin. So you may be further away. That's perfectly fine. So wherever you're at, Where you feel a stretch, this gets into the hips, so if you have hip tightness, that's okay. It may not look the same as mine. You could also put a blanket or a pillow underneath the hips to help elevate the pelvic area so the knees can draw a little wider. Wherever you can sit up nice and tall, the hands can also come behind you to help sit you up nice and tall. Grab a hold of your ankles or wherever you can and send the crown of the head all the way up to the sky. And let's take a couple of breaths here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the nose. Just allowing gravity to do its work. Gently releasing, straightening out the right leg now, turning the torso in line with that right leg. Both sit bones are on the mat. The right toes are coming back, they're flexed towards the face. Sitting up nice and tall, inhaling. And as I exhale, folding from the hips, reaching for whatever I can, beginning to fold. You can take a gentle bend in the knee. Maybe beginning to notice one side may be a little more flexible than the other. One side may be tighter than the other. And that's okay. We don't need to worry about that right now. We're just noticing. And then we're beginning to breathe. We're sending fresh energy through this right leg. And we're releasing stuck energy out of that leg. Inhale, let's grow tall through that crown, straighten that spine, and on the exhale, fold again, just a little. Using the hands, let's slowly walk our way up, and we're going to make our way into a supine position, laying on our backs. Take your time making your way down. You can use the hands, make supported way down. You could also use the abs if you'd like, and slowly roll down. That's your choice. Coming onto the back, keeping the knees bent. We're just here for a second, allowing the spine a moment to acclimate to this position. Hugging the knees into the chest. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side. And now placing the hands onto the knees, let's take the knees and draw them away from each other. We're going to make circles with each of the knees. So make big circles drawing out and away from each other. Really opening up the hips here. Opening up the hip joints. Getting some synovial fluid in there. And then of course you want to go in the opposite direction. And these can be small circles or large circles, whatever feels good in your body. Listen to your body. Yoga should never be painful. You should never do anything that hurts your body. So you're always looking for a gentle stretch. And anything that's painful, you want to stop. That's your body telling you that that's not something that you should be doing. So always listen to your body. Slowly bringing that movement to an end. You can lower the feet down to the mat. Just coming into a figure four stretch for those hips. The right ankle can come onto the left thigh. For some, this is enough of a stretch right here for that right hip. You can stay here. You can begin to draw the left knee into the chest. Clasping behind that left thigh. Keep both feet active in this pose. You can also rock side to side here. Releasing stuck tensions or emotions that we may hold in the hip area. Really sending positive energy through the breath here to those places. Exhaling away the negative. Just allowing it to leave the body with each exhale breath. Gently releasing, uncrossing the legs. We're switching sides. The left ankle crosses over the right. Again, this may be enough of a stretch. Both sides are different. So again, listen to your body here. You may want to draw that right knee into the chest. And you can also rock here if that feels good. Inhaling the fresh oxygen, sending it down to the left side body, the left hip, the left hamstring. Exhaling away stress and tension and anxiousness, emotion, stuck energies. Anything that doesn't serve you, things that are not within your control, release them away. Gently unwinding the legs, let's draw both knees into the chest. Release just the arms, bring them out to a T position, and then we're going to drop the legs over to the left side of the body, coming into a supine twist. So trying to keep the right shoulder onto the mat the best that we can. You can always put a pillow or blocks or something underneath the legs for support. The gaze can go over the right hand, right shoulder. Trying to stay with your breath here. Scanning through your body to notice any areas that you may still feel any tightness or tensions.
Inviting those areas to release. Drawing the knees back up through center, and then slowly allowing them to fall over to the right side. And now trying to keep that left shoulder down on the mat. Softening of the jaw, the forehead, and the cheeks. Now drawing the legs back up through center. Give them one last squeeze into the chest. Releasing them down. Let's straighten those legs all the way out. And then drawing the arms up overhead. Now walk the feet over to the right bottom, the right side of the mat. And then walking the hands over the right side of the mat. Keeping the left hip on the mat and the left shoulder on the mat. Coming into Banana Asana. Feeling a stretch on the left side of the body. Now you can stay right here, or you could cross that left ankle over and you could clasp the left wrist with the right hand for more, to intensify the stretch. So again, we're trying to keep the left hip and the left shoulder down on the mat here. Breathing, inhaling to expand those ribs. Exhaling, softening the entire left side. Gently releasing, coming back through center. And now taking the feet over to the left side of the mat. The hands come over to the left. The right hip stays planted on the mat. The right shoulder's on the mat. Coming into Banana Asana on this side. And again, you can cross that right ankle over the left. And you could also clasp that right wrist. Inhaling breath, expanding the right side body. And exhaling into softness. Gently releasing, coming back to the center of your mat. We're already set up for our final relaxation. Taking your feet wide as the mat. Just let the toes fall out to each side. The arms come to the sides of the body, but a little bit away from the body. Just take up some space here with the palms facing up towards the sky. Go ahead and snuggle those shoulder blades underneath you. Getting yourself nice and comfortable. You could always put a pillow or a folded up blanket underneath your knees here to release some tensions from the low back. And of course, you could lay on your side or even keep the knees, the legs bent. So just getting nice and comfortable for final relaxation. Finding a place you can remain still for the next couple of minutes. Finding a place you can come into total relaxation. Taking 3 breaths here. We're going to do some gentle sighs on our exhales out the mouth. So taking a nice inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and just a gentle sigh. Feel yourself relaxing into the earth. Inhale again. Open the mouth. Let everything go. Inhale. Let it go. Take this time to leave everything behind. Put your to-do list for the day on the back burner. Don't worry about what the day holds for you. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Only concerned with the next couple of minutes. We're taking a moment of relaxation, of stillness, of peace. If a thought floats into your mind, notice it and let it float away just like a cloud. Allow your breath to just become natural and begin to feel your skull melt down into the earth, into your mat beneath you. Begin to feel the support from the earth underneath you. Feel yourself surrendering down, releasing, relaxing. Shavasana. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Begin to welcome gentle movements, rubbing your thumb across each fingertip as we just slowly awaken the body, wiggling the toes, rolling the wrist, the ankles, gentle nod of the head. Maybe sending the legs long, reaching the arms overhead, taking a long stretch, and then bending the knees and rolling onto your favorite side, coming into fetal pose, resting your head on the arm beneath. Take a moment here to give yourself gratitude for showing up to the mat today. And then when you're ready, gently make your way back to a seated position, taking your time. There's no rush. Softly keeping the eyes closed. We'll end our practice today taking one final breath together. Inhaling the arms overhead. Palms touch, exhale. This beautiful light that's within me sees and honors and cherishes that same beautiful light that's within each and every one of you. Namaste. You can open your eyes. Welcome in this beautiful day. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.